So I'm going to show you A, what Adobe Express is, how to find it, B, how to use it basically to create a web page, and C, how to share the link of what you've created. So if you go to your MyMU page and you click on Adobe Express, you should be able to access it right from there, which is really easy to find. It does take a minute to load. Once you get here, this is what the home page is going to look like for Adobe Express. If you've never used this before, this is free for all students and faculty at Marshall. So if you are teaching or will be teaching, you can have your students use this to create projects. It's really cool. If you've ever used Canva before, it's similar to Canva, only because we pay for it. There's a lot more functionality that you can use. There's no kind of like wall between the cool stuff and the stuff that's free. So if you want to create a web page, what you do is you go down to, you go to Webpage up here actually. There's a link right for Webpage. And these are all of the different basically shells that you can choose from to create your web page. Kind of for different functions. So there's one that looks like a newsletter, one that looks more like a blog, one that's created for an event, one that's more structured like an online portfolio. You can explore those if you want to use them for this project. I'd be fine with that. But I'm just going to show you the basic web page format right now. So if you click on that, it'll bring you to some choices of templates. They're, themed by whatever you want to use. You don't have to use a template if you don't want to. This is more for people who see something that really appeals to them, and it's kind of, you just sort of populate it. What I would do is create from scratch, because then you can kind of tweak it how you want to in a lot more ways. So at the top, you'll see that it allows you to add a title as well as a subtitle. You can add a photo to this. So you could have a background photo for your title page. You could have like a split layout, which would look like this, where you would have like your title over here and an image over here. There's a lot of different things that you can try. And to make a second kind of, if you want like a scrolling experience, what you could choose is, I believe it's called a glide show. And this is where you have photos in the background and people kind of scroll through them as they go. So if you chose like a couple different photos here, for instance, I'm going to choose these three, just at random. You could upload from the device too. So if you have a photo that you know that you want to use instead of what they have, do that. You can also generate an image using the AI, but you definitely don't have to. So I would just save what I've created. And basically what that does is it makes it so those images stay in the background. And what you can do is populate these sections with text if you want to. You could populate them with a video, a GIF, you could do a photo. You can kind of do whatever you want. And you basically just kind of keep scrolling down with those images in the background. There are other things you can do too. You don't have to do the glide show. You could do more of like a photo grid. So if I did that, I could choose these photos here and I'd click save, and then it would just kind of like be a bunch of photos next to each other. You can generate text wherever you want. You can put photos wherever you want. So it's incredibly versatile and easy to create whatever you want to create. I would recommend playing with it, its functionality, making sure that you kind of understand how it works. There are lots of tutorials for Adobe Express web pages. If you just Google it, you'll be able to find some. I think there are some actually embedded right on the Adobe Express web page as well. So there's lots of tutorials in case you get lost. But it should be relatively easy to use. And then once you're all done creating the thing that you want to create, what you would do is go up to the share button on the top right. You'd go to publish to web. And then you would go to make sure that you put a title. So whatever the title is of your piece, PWESA, have a better title than that. Click yourself as the author. I wouldn't allow others to remix because that means that I could go in and change what you've created, which is not what you want. If you wanted to share like a template that you've created for someone to populate it with their own stuff, that's something that you would want to use that remix toggle for. Don't click password protection because that means that I can't access it as just an outsider. I would have to get a password from you. And then what you do is just create link, and then it will publish the project so other people can access it. And now we have our link. So what you would do is just copy that link, and that link is what you'll share with me in the assignment submission page. That's basically what it is. And then I'll just have the link. I'll be able to go right to your web page. I'll also create a folder on Blackboard so you can see everybody else's projects. But that's Adobe Express web pages in a nutshell. You can also use Adobe Express to create things like infographics, posters, edit videos. It's great for portfolios if you want to create like a portfolio of your work that you'll kind of add to as you go through your college experience that you could use on the job market. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, let me know, but I would recommend just kind of playing around with it as soon as you can.